Hi, everyone. Welcome to Bleeding Blue Shirts, Episode 7, Game 7. Those two words, Steve Valiquette, have very special meaning to an athlete, especially one who has experienced it. So before we get into the strategy of what to expect tonight with Rangers Penguins, I just want to know from you, what are your memories of the Game 7 where you were on the bench and experienced every element emotionally? Is it as fraught with anxiety as it is in the stands?
Yeah, it is. Look, there's a nervous energy. You could cut it with a knife. Everybody just looks a little bit different. There's a little bit more cautious approach to everybody's pregame routine. There's energy there, but it's nervous energy, and it's noticeable. It has a different feel to it. And I think that it's a good thing. I think that when athletes are nervous before games, they're going to be ready. It's when you're casual and nonchalant that you really pay a price to ask. But for the Rangers down 3-1 in the series to come back and push a Game 7 under the conditions they have, John, I just can't see this going poorly. I think they're going to be ready to go. I think everybody's going to be fired up, and it's at home. And I just feel like this group's ready to take a step forward in their own personal development as individuals and as a group. And let's get ready for another series. This group needs it.
You mentioned that they're home, and Gerard Gallant said at the very beginning of the series that home ice advantage doesn't matter until Game 7. Then when you look at the numbers for Game 7, historically, over the 185 that have been played, the home team wins 58% of the time, but in the last 10 years, it's been 500. We saw 2 out of 3 home teams win yesterday in the first 3 Game 7s. Why is it not as much of an advantage? Is there just some inherent extra tension when you play in front of your home crowd in a Game 7?
You know, it's funny, I reached out to Peter Hurd about this morning as well. He sent me over the note that said 35 wins, 33 losses on Game 7s for the home team. And I'm like, come on, Peter, are you serious?
Crazy. Yeah.
I thought it would be better, John. I think that when you get down, there can be doubt if you're a fragile group. But I don't see the Rangers that way. This is a team that is the cardiac kids, right? They're the youngest team in the playoffs. They've had young moments. They've had some putrid periods in this postseason so far. Tough for you and I to watch. They're going to give me a heart attack. But it's just been that kind of a roller coaster because I think they're just learning. But when you get back to the core value of belief and care, that overrides inexperience. It overrides inexperience because you want to still play on. I can't help but believe in this group because of how they believe in one another. 27 comeback victories this year, franchise record. They're comfortable being uncomfortable. So all of these things are things that we see, and we can't really touch it but get a really good grasp on it other than just believing in what we've seen so far. I think this group could get down tonight and pull it out of the fire again because they really care about one another, and I think that's a really important thing that sometimes is missed in analytics and the way that we view the game with our eyeballs.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be a part 2 tonight is statistically 75% of the teams that score first in a Game 7 go on to win the series. We saw that all 3 times last night. It's happened 12 straight times.
Yeah.
But in this series, the team that scores first has lost 4 out of the 6 games. So there's no way to know from that perspective what's going to happen tonight. But in terms of strategy, Steve, of everything we've seen in these first 6 games, which some can be thrown out the window, maybe all of it can, but what are the elements that the Rangers absolutely have to borrow from the best parts of the first 6 games tonight?
So what you have to do is you have to do really a self-analysis on your game, and how you do that and how you create a plan for yourself is first identify what's important to be successful. Because in a Game 7, John, you cannot get distracted by thinking about results. You can't go out there before your shift begins and tell yourself, I need to score a goal. It doesn't work like that. That creates conflict in your mind on what's really important to your shift. So when you hear coaches say, we need details in our game, our details need to be sharp. You take a young defenseman like Braden Schneider. When the puck goes back to his corner, How does he turn to get it? Does he lift up and lose inches this way so that he can't move this way? Because this game is about time and space. So he has to get there skating efficiently. So if I'm Braden Schneider, I'm saying to myself, I've got to turn and drive, okay? 3 hard strides, get myself into the corner first, check my shoulder before I get there, look up ice after I collect the puck. I want to make the first play that I see. I don't want that window to close and look for play 2 and 3, not in a game 7, not in your own zone. That would be the way that I would approach my game if I'm Braden Schneider. I do the same thing if I'm Shesterkin. I do the same thing if I'm Artemi Panarin. You have to play your game. You have to stay focused on your details. The team outcome, it's just going to show up, John. It'll show up in a positive place if everybody does their job. You really have to simplify it. Just boil it down to that. The devil is in the details, as the coaches would say, and that's the game.
All right, so we saw last night 3-2, 2-1, 2-0 in a playoff season so far that has been overwhelmed with goals. Are we going to see another small, low-scoring 1-goal game tonight, or will we see what we saw in the first 6 games where the winner scored 4 or 5 or more every game?
Yeah, John, without Sidney Crosby, without Malkin at the beginning of the season, I learned a lot about Mike Sullivan. He had a master class of buy-in from his group and defensive structure. I feel like now that you get into the game 7 and you find out Sidney Crosby's playing or not playing, that probably reflects on your approach of your Sullivan. But at the same time, if you're Mike Sullivan, you probably want to just bring it into a low event game and hope for the best here. Because again, you don't know if you've got Jari coming back. There's at least a little mystery about that. Maybe you're going back with Domingue. Okay, so you've got Domingue in the net, and let's say you don't have Crosby. 100% the game plan for Sullivan is shut it down, low event hockey. The third period of game 6, all right, Pittsburgh Penguins had 6 scoring chances, all low danger. The Rangers had 7 scoring chances the other way, only 1 mid danger, 6 low danger. That was a low event period in that third period in Pittsburgh for game 6. I'm anticipating 3 periods of that for this game here at game 7 at Madison Square Garden. I can't imagine that these teams want to play anything like they did in games 1 through 4. I think this is going to be shut down. I think it's being tight. And I think it also gives both teams what they would believe would be their best chance to win.
Yeah, and it gives us so much to talk about. Tristan Jarry and Sidney Crosby are going to probably be true game time decisions because of how they feel at game time when the teams come on the ice at 6:30. We'll be there to talk all about it. Henrik will join us as well. It's going to be a fun night. It's going to be a nerve-wracking night, and we're going to try to bring you all of that into your homes. And then Sam and Joe, of course, will have the call of this game 7 between the Rangers and the Pittsburgh Penguins. It's the 9th game 7 in the history of Madison Square Garden. So soak it all in, enjoy it, do whatever you have to do to stay as calm as possible, and we will see you tonight. Steve, I can't wait for it.
Oh boy, can I wait for it? Can I wait for it? It's going to be nerve-wracking, buddy. I'll see you there.
All right, have fun.